This episode is brought to you by DistroKid.
When you think about businesses that are selling through the roof, like Skims or Allbirds, sure, you think about a great product, a cool brand, and great marketing. But an often overlooked secret is actually the businesses behind the business, making selling and for shoppers buying simple. For millions of businesses, that business is Shopify. It's home of ShopPay, the #1 checkout in the world. You can use it to boost conversions up to 50%, meaning way less carts going abandoned and way more sales going through to checkout. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout Allbirds uses. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/income, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/income to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/income.
Hey everybody, today's guest is Tahlena Chikami, lead vocalist for the Orange County, California ska punk band Bite Me Bambi. Together we break down the writing, recording, and inspiration behind their fan favorite single, Bad Boyfriend, taken from their 2025 full-length album, Eat This. Bad Boyfriend is exactly what you think it's about, but it wasn't Tahlena's boyfriend. She mentioned that two of her friends were dating guys who were the epitome of bad boyfriends. The music for this one was demoed first, and when it came time for the lyrics, the band, along with producer Cameron Webb, agreed that the song needed something both literal and at the same time had to hit you over the head. And it does just that. It's 2 minutes and 37 seconds of pure ska fun. The arrangement on this song is unorthodox, begging the listener to pick out what the chorus is. While this could be problematic with a lot of tunes, it isn't here. This arrangement harkens me back to my early days of songwriting, where there were no rules, and with music, there shouldn't be rules anyway. I applaud Cameron Webb for sticking to this no-rules approach, as the band threw the songwriting playbook out the window. So, for all this, and a story about an RV disaster in Oklahoma, stick around. Hey, hey, have you heard? Krista makes a podcast. Hey, hey, have you heard? Krista makes a podcast. Hey, hey, have you heard? Krista makes a podcast. Hey, hey, have you heard? Krista makes a podcast. Tahlena, how you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
I am awesome. Quick question. Have you ever had a bad boyfriend? I haven't, but I want to ask you.
You know what's funny is in the live show I always go, this goes out to anyone who's ever had a bad boyfriend. And some shows people are like, wow. And some shows it's nothing. And I go, no, just me. Okay. Anyway. So yes, but this song is actually about my friends' bad boyfriends.
Oh, okay. You wrote about them instead of personal experience, which is funny because you just made me think. You know, I've asked that question before. It'll be around Valentine's Day or something. I'll say to the crowd, you know, who's here? You know, has a great relationship and is in love, and like sometimes the whole place goes up, and other times it's just. Yeah, everyone seems like they're content with their relationship, so you never know.
Yeah, I noticed too. Like we just got off the road with Fishbone, and no shade to Fishbone, but the crowd tends to skew a little older than like some of the other shows we play. And I noticed like people are happily married at Fishbone shows, but like if it's like with other people, they'll be like all these like young people are like, yeah, fuck dating. Sorry, am I allowed to swear?
Of course.
Okay, sorry. I have a really bad potty mouth. My mom will hear this and be like, you are embarrassing me, child, with your potty mouth.
Isn't that interesting that we can stand back and it seems like we can see the disaster, the accident happening with our friends with a relationship, and they will come to us for advice, but rarely do they ever take it. They just have to figure it out for themselves that this person isn't the greatest thing maybe for me.
Yeah, and what's funny is so I kind of wrote this song about two different friends' boyfriends, and I don't want to like dox anybody. But the one friend, she saw it before me, and I was like, no, like give him a chance, like whatever. And then in the end, I was like, oh, girl, you were right. The other friend, I actually sat her down, and I was like, you are very unhappy, and I hate to be that guy that just tells you honestly. Also, I've had like 15 gin and tonics, but I have to tell you. So it was kind of a dual experience. So it's not about one person's boyfriend or even my boyfriend. It's just about the two different ones smushed together. Although one of the friends was like, it gives me such peace to know that you sing a song about how trash my ex is all around the world. It's like, it's true.
It is her ex now. What about the other friend?
Both exes, yeah. I would not
All
have put
right.
out the song and been like, attention, Janice, you need to break up with your boyfriend. Like, I would not. Janice, do I have a 90-year-old friend named Janice? Maybe.
Okay, I was gonna say Janice. That's you're kind of dating ourselves here.
I don't
but
know where that came from.
You just mentioned Fishbone. I'm going to be seeing quite a bit of you and your band this coming summer. We're going to be doing a tour with the Suicide Machines, Fishbone, Bite Me Bambi, and Catbite. Catbite's going to be
Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, I didn't know that. No one told, like, I'm last note everything. Oh, that's going to be fun.
Yeah.
And it's fun because then Catbite gets to do West Coast and we're going to do East Coast. So that's cool. We're going to play our opposite coasts. I love that.
There you go. And I don't know if you heard, but just heard that the Dance Hall Crashers, they just announced that they're getting back together. So
Yes.
what's happening here? And another question, I'm bouncing around here, but do you consider yourself third wave ska? Or are you the fourth wave? And is there a fifth wave yet?
Chris, people probably ask you this question as much as they ask me this question. And I go, I don't know about no waves. I just know I like ska music, and so that's what I play.
There you go.
I don't know. I think it's funny because, like, I don't like to shit on the waves, right? Because there is like such a beautiful and rich history of ska music, and it's like so important to everything we do. I always say I can't run around and act like I don't play like Black people's music, like Black Jamaican music, and it comes out of colonialism and anti-racism and all these things, right? All of that history is so important. But at a certain point, when you get to like where I am, I'm like, I don't know. I'm not really doing anything so like different from other people. I'm the amalgamation of all the waves. You know, I grew up listening to a lot of two-tone. I'm a really big fan of like rock steady and like that sort of stuff. And you know, then there's like Agrolites doing like dirty reggae. Like I love that. So it's kind of like, you know, I feel like Bite Me Bambi is the amalgamation of all that. So it's hard for me to be like, oh, and we're the new wave, you know. But I know like Bad Time does the like new tone stuff. Like that's cool. Like if you want to label it like that. But I don't know. If you ask mean guys on the internet, I am just a third wave copycat. So we can go with that if that's what we want to do.
Well, that's interesting because third wave came about in the 90s. So if it was a time period, you think that the early 2000s would have been the fourth wave and then the fifth wave. You might be into the sixth wave now, but who knows? It really doesn't matter. But before we jump into the song, I want to ask about, this guy has been on a short list for me forever to want to work with as a producer. I love his sounds, his sonics. It's Cameron Webb. And how did that come about?
It's so funny. I was just talking with a friend this morning about Cameron because Cameron has a huge resume, right?
Yes.
When I met Cameron, I did not know that. Thank God. Everyone was like, hey, we got hooked up with him because our keyboard player, Mike Burrell, who used to be in like My Superhero and stuff, he played on a Mad Caddies record. He did some keys and Cameron produced that. And so he knew Cameron. He's like, well, I know this guy and he's, you know, really good. Like maybe he'll produce our record. And so we got lucky and Cameron was like, yeah, well, I'll do some songs with you or whatever. And so when I walked in, I love Cameron so much. He has shaped me as an artist. He like so much about how I approach recording and making a record and learning just like basic stuff that I didn't know going in. I used to hate recording. I'm such a live performance person. And he really just taught me so much. And I remember when we went in and we played 2 songs for him that we were going to do. And he goes, oh, that second one, that's not a chorus. Rewrite that. And we were like, Brian Mashburn and I were like, what? Okay. And so we rewrote the whole song that night and it became the song Like That. That was on our first record. But yeah, and I love that. Cameron will push me when I need to be pushed. Like making Eat This, he was like, where's the girl in the leather jacket? Like, I don't see her in here. Or like, there's a point where I'm like crying on the couch. Like, and he's like, take a 5, like cry it out. Like, he's very sweet. He always gets mad because he's like, you categorize me like an asshole. Like when you talk about me, I'm like, no, he just knows to like push when you need push, support when you need support. And yeah, his body work is crazy, right? Like from Kelly Clarkson to Motorhead to like NoFX to Aquabats, like he's great.
Yeah, Social Distortion to Clay
Pennywise,
Aiken to
yeah.
Weezer, Ben Folds. The guy's all over the place, but he's cut out a really good name for himself. I love his productions. The record is called Eat This. It's out now. Bad Boyfriend is from the album. However, it was released last April of 2024. So were you trying to roll the record out slowly, or what was the thought process behind that?
Yeah, so when we started back in 2018. And kind of at that point, everyone was like, oh, if you release singles, you get as much of a spike in the algorithm. I hate talking about the algorithm, but it is unfortunately part of our story, right? And our industry now. But then you do if you release a full record, right? A single was just as good algorithmically. And so we were doing single after single with video after video, and then COVID happens, and then we keep just doing videos. That's the only way we can kind of get to people, right? So Bad Boyfriend was the first batch of songs off of Eat This, and we just needed a release because we hadn't done it in so long. And so we were like, well, let's just put this out because it's done. And we made a video and we thought, well, we'll just do a video for every single song and we'll record them. I'll be full disclosure, Bite Me Bambi ain't the richest band. So we got to do like 2 songs, 2 videos at a time, like go play some shows and make money, like, you know, to like keep it going. And so that's why that one got released so much earlier than the others. But as the conversation went on, it was like, well, we have enough songs to make a full length, and like, let's just put these new songs together and we'll do videos for some of them and we'll do it more traditional. So that's what we decided to do. So that's why it's so much earlier than the rest of them. It was just done first.
Okay. And was Cameron the first producer with a resume such as this? I'll call it a real producer that you worked with.
Yeah, Cameron for sure. And he's been the only one really since. We have a friend who does produce and is an engineer, Craig Knapp, who worked on our first record. And Craig has worked with a lot of people too, but Craig was more, because he was a friend, he was very much like, sounds great, guys. What about this? Like, it wasn't like how Cameron comes in and like comes to a rehearsal and pre-production and goes like, cut this. Like, what, do we really need this? You know, Cameron is much more like produces us like that.
Yeah. I think once you get your head wrapped around that this is what the producer is being paid for, that you start to be able to put those feelings aside. You were speaking of being upset on the couch because, you know, I could be so certain of a lyric or song, but until I'm working with a full team and the producer's there and I get the green light and the thumbs up that this is great, they could tell me anything. And I really try my best not to get attached for that reason, because we're all trying to make a record here and you can get tunnel vision. As you know, I call it demoitis, where you get stuck on something. It's like that part's got to be there. And you're like, it's, you know, no one else in the room is vibing off it except for you. And you could either fight it or let it go, right?
Yeah, what I love about Cameron is if you really want something, he'll say, okay, if you're like willing to die on this hill, I'll let you have this. Like,
yeah.
You know, that's okay. But a lot of times he's right. Or, you know, when we do have time, which is a luxury, and sometimes we do, he'll go, let's do both. Let's A-B it. You know, like I'll go in and do like 3 or 4 takes of the song, unless I'm like really having a bad day and we got to go like verse by verse, by chorus by chorus. A lot of times I'll do like 4 full runs, and then he and I will sit together and we'll comp. And now in his mind, he knows already, because he's fast, which like takes he wants and how he wants to comp it. But he lets me sit there with him and he goes like A or B, you know, 1 versus 3. And we kind of, and sometimes it's like, make a different choice, go in there and make a different choice. And let's see if that can beat what we already have, which I like to kind of work that way. I come from a theater background, so like for me, I get into like almost character choices, or where like the motivation is coming from when I'm singing, or what, you know, why did I write this, like that kind of thing. So
okay,
sometimes we make weird choices because of that.
That's so cool to hear, because everybody's different in the studio. And that's another reason why I love doing the show. Every time you talk to somebody, they have a different, you know, just a little bit different path they take to get somewhere. And for me, I get as far away from a studio when somebody's comping my vocals. You do. If you think it sounds great, I'll come back. And if something's killing me, then I cannot listen to my voice. It's not that I hate it. I just hear every nuance. I can't do it. And the fact that you sit there and listen to all of it, it's cool.
Yeah. And I used to be that way. I'd be like, well, that was that. Who needs coffee? I'll be back. Like, but really, like, really was from Cameron teaching me, like, you know, this is important. Like, this is the thing. Because again, coming from theater, and I know I did television and film too, so it's a little different because it does live on. But coming from live theater and loving the live performance, I'm like, well, I left it all out there. But Cameron's like, when you're dead, if you're lucky enough that like 10 people listen to this, like this is the thing that will like live on beyond you, was kind of like the idea I got from him. He didn't say that to me exactly, but so I tried to have more care and be more intentional and think of it as making an art piece instead of like, I have to record this song so I can go play live shows.
Yeah. No, it's so true. And as you know, the live thing and being in the studio, they couldn't be two different animals. You said you left it out there on the stage. Well, yeah, it's what we do. Unless someone's recording and they're going to put it online next day and say, hey, Chris, you messed up the second verse there. You sang the wrong lyrics, which has happened.
Always that guy. And I hate to be like sexist, but it's normally a dude that does that.
Yeah, exactly. They have nothing better to do. And they may even be the bad boyfriend, which we're going to get into this track right now. 2 minutes and 37 seconds. I've been trying my best lately, Tahlena, to write no longer than 2.5-minute demos. And I'm in the process of recording some new songs. I want to get in there 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes, and get out. And this song does exactly that. The intro is 4 bars of a cool little bass riff. On bar 4, there's a drum fill and a flutter of the organ that brings us into verse 1. That organ is in unison with the bass before we get in. Short intro, short and sweet. You make your point, and we're in to verse 1. Did you demo this song?
Yeah, so the way we used to write, Brian Mashburn, who's no longer a part of the project, he had some personal stuff he had to dip, but he had a heavy hand in still writing this record. This song he and I wrote together. So what he would do a lot of times is he would kind of fill out a lot of the instrumental, either like on some songs like Hot Lava, like I had the chorus written on guitar and the vocals and the melody, and I'd sing it to him and he'd go, okay, let me like fill out the rest. But Bad Boyfriend, he had kind of had the idea for a while. So it was actually like a finished track. And he was like, okay, what are we going to say over it?
Okay.
Yeah. So he had demoed all of it out. I think actually Bill Uechi from Say Ferris played the bass on the demo because Mash was like, oh, I don't like how I'm playing it. So I think he actually had Bill do it.
Okay.
Yeah, on the demo, which is kind of funny.
The reason I asked this is a very interesting, and we're going to get into it in a moment. I have a question about some parts. It's an interesting arrangement. And did it change from the demo? Do you remember?
Yes, if I recall, it is a weird arrangement, and it became a problem when we would go back to the chorus, and everyone would go, what is the chorus?
Well, and so you already know where I'm going with this. Thank you for foreshadowing for the listeners. We're going to get into verse 1. It's a double verse.
Boyfriend calls you in the middle of the night. Boyfriend says, come on, I need a ride. Take him to a party and he goes to start a fight. Wants to borrow money so he can go get high. He's a loser and a user and a liar and a faker. Always pulling favors cause you know that he's a taker. Says that he loves you but it's all pretend. Only dating you to get to your friends. Come on.
Boyfriend calls you in the middle of the night. Boyfriend says, come on, I need a ride. Take him to a party and he goes to start a fight. Wants to borrow money so he can go get high. He's a loser and a user and a liar and a faker. Always pulling favors because you know that he's a taker. Says that he loves you, but it's all pretend. Only dating you to get to your friends. Come on. Sounds like a Jeopardy clue, right?
What's funny is originally the song was about bad friends. So basically, like, if we go all the way back, Mash was like, I think we need a song that's like kind of Op Ivy-ish or something like that, like a little more punk. We wanted to kind of go in that direction. And so he wrote this and he's like, yeah, this song is about like bad friends. That's where the line like wants to borrow money so he can go get high was actually like part of the Bad Friends original version. And I was like, yeah, Bad Friends. But then I think Catbite came out with a song before us called Bad Friends. And we were like, we can't have 2 Bad Friend songs. Like, that's dumb. So then we were like, okay, what is it going to be? And then it's funny. Us and Catbite have a lot of the same, I think because we're the same, like myself and like Brittany and like we're all kind of the same age. So we have a lot of the same ideas at the same time. Like that's how we both have Selena covers. But so we were like, okay, it can't be Bad Friends. And then he was like, well, what if it's about, I think I said, what if it's about like a romantic partner? And then we tried to be PC and be like, how can we encompass everyone? And I was like, you know what? Sometimes Cameron Webb told me this, specificity is where it's at. Like, let's write it about a bad boyfriend. Like anybody can have a bad boyfriend of any gender, like whatever, right?
Sure.
And also, like, people have had bad girlfriends, and this song also probably can scratch parts of their brain. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes being specific tells a better story, I think, than trying to, like, reach everybody all together. So that's where the lyrics sort of started, was it was bad friends, and then we had to be like, no, bad boyfriend.
Yeah, and I think, as you know, songs are situational. There's some songs that are, hey, this lyric is really literal. This is what it's about. And other songs you're kind of going, wow, what are they talking about there? And you can use your own imagination. Right at the start of verse 1, right off the top, we get a gang vocal on Boyfriend. On the second line, we get another Boyfriend gang vocal. Right after I Need a Ride, we get the same organ run as the intro. We also get that after So He Can Go Get High. The drums, bass, and clean upstroke guitars are all in here on verse 1. We get our first harmony on the back half on A Loser and a User and a Liar and a Faker. And we also get a harmony on Know That He's a Taker. Harmonies always, they just kind of mesmerize me. I love them so much because there's so many possibilities. I'm not great at them. I have to work at them to find the right harmony. Our bass player, Rogers, amazing at it. He's taught me a ton about harmony. I've learned a lot over the years, but why those two places, out of curiosity?
Well, I'm also bad at harmony, and I guarantee you I'm worse. A lot of times, like, I have to phone a friend, and a lot of times I'm singing to a guide. If I can hear it and I wrote it, I'll remember it till the day I die. But if you're like, Tahlena, the harmony's this, like, Cameron has literally, like, hit record and walked out of the room and, like, put me on a loop because I just struggle with it. Not the gift God gave me. God only gave me charisma. But those lines, it's a DHC ripoff. I was like, I would like it to sound like Dance Hall Crashers right here. Thank you. And that's what we did.
But I mean, isn't that... What else could it sound like? You're not screaming, you're actually singing. So you put a harmony on that with a female vocal in a ska band, it's going to sound like,
No, but I literally was like, and here can we do Dance Hall Crashers harmony? Thank you very much. And that's what we did. So,
It's awesome. And right after that, Come On, which is You Alone, later in the song, there'll be some extra vocals on that Come On. We get into, and what was Cameron calling this next part? Is this the pre-chorus or is this the chorus?
So I call this part the pre-chorus in my mind. You Don't Need That Bad Boyfriend is the chorus in my mind. But I think Cameron, if I remember correctly, we were calling them chorus 1 and chorus 2, or like chorus 1A. Just like so annoying. But yeah, it's got a funky like structure, and I think too then the challenge became, which you hear throughout the song, is we're trying to build, right? Because there is like a lot of repeating sections. We even repeat lyrics, which is like verse lyrics, which is really rare. I guess verse, I think in Mashburn's mind, the he's a loser and a user and a liar and a faker was the pre-chorus. So we were all working under different like ideas of what, which makes us sound like idiots. We probably should have sat down and said what part was what. But it's interesting then to see who thinks what should repeat. Like I was like, oh, we're going to repeat the lyrics. And he was like, yeah, okay.
When I see arrangements like this, and you mentioned to me, you had a track that Cameron said, there's no chorus here. He was just straight up matter of fact. And you like went back and rewrote it. And, I'm calling this the pre-chorus as well, but it might be the catchiest part of the song. It is it is so poppy and so catchy. I'm going to call it pre-chorus 1. I'm going to go with you on this one. Pre-chorus 1.
Come on, using up your money, wasting all your time, burning out your body. Now it wants your mind. Using up your money, wasting all your time, burning out your body. Now it wants your mind. You don't need that.
Using up your money, wasting all your time, burning out your body. Now he wants your mind.
The most controversial part of that is burning out your body, and we weren't sure if we wanted to say that, but I think that's a very real thing that can happen. And like sex can be used as a weapon if we're being kind of dark in a lot of relationships. And Now He Wants Your Mind came from a friend who was struggling with a breakup, and this guy was just, not to use like a whatever term, but like gaslighting her in the truest sense. Like it was just like constantly, and she was like, am I crazy? Am I crazy? Or did this happen? And that was kind of where that Now He Wants Your Mind came from. Like he can take everything from you, but the worst thing is when someone tries to like take your mind and make you feel like you're not important or you're not heard, right?
Okay. Well, again, this pre-chorus, it's doubled here, kind of like the first verse, and it is drums, bass, and clean upstroke guitar, as well as the organ is in here playing chord pads after each of the first three lines. Using up your money, wasting all your time, and burning out your body. We get this little horn run after each line. And now he wants your mind. We get the bad boyfriend, which is like a backing vocal. It's panned hard left and right, and these are just the guy voices here. You're not on these ones.
Well, I am.
Oh, you are? Okay.
I am,
okay.
But you just, like, it's not like I'm also standing in the room around the one microphone screaming.
Did you lower your voice?
Yeah, probably. Or like Cameron will be like, now a small girl, now a tall girl. Like we've done like.
I like that within tracks sometimes, especially with a female vocalist where you're like, oh, this, I liked it because to me it sounds just like guys going, bad boyfriend. They're kind of acknowledging, like almost like they're the guy. So I thought that was kind of cool. The fact that you're tucked in there and I can't hear it, I think is great. The second round of the pre-chorus has a harmony on Now He Wants Your Mind to bring us into chorus one. On the first time, Now He Wants Your Mind is you by yourself. And then we get into the chorus. And this is such, I'll use the term strange. It's strange. It's strange that this is the chorus because the part before it is just so catchy.
I mean, I think most people think the part before is the chorus, but in my mind.
You don't need that bad boyfriend, bad boyfriend. Oh no, you don't need that bad boyfriend round you. It's sad but true. You've been trying, you've been lying all the time.
You don't need that bad boyfriend. Bad boyfriend. Oh no, you don't need that bad boyfriend round you. It's sad but true.
Well, I mean, it's pretty straightforward. Not my most exciting lyrics, but I will say what I love about that live. And this kind of goes back to like why the guys are singing the harmonies is we wanted the track to feel very live. And that's why like it's just the guys because we only have dudes in our band. So it's kind of that same thing. And so I think what I love about like, you don't need that bad boyfriend, this section is the section where everyone is like screaming it back in my face in the live setting, which I think to me, that's why it feels like chorus. Cause it's like the thing that everybody's singing. Yeah, they're singing along to the other parts, but like this part happens and everyone's like throwing their arms up in the air and like screaming, which I love.
Well, and I called this the chorus because it says bad boyfriend 3 times. So that's gotta be the chorus, right? And that's what we're gonna go with. The first line, we get a gang vocal on bad boyfriend. Then the next bad boyfriend is also a gang vocal. Drums, bass, and guitar are all present here in the chorus. We get a harmony only on Oh No, and on It's Sad But True as a gang vocal. Why just the harmony on Oh No?
I don't know, actually. I don't know why it is that way. I think that was a Brian Mashburn call. And what I would think it probably is to keep the you don't need that bad boyfriend, just me, and then to help it sort of be punchy on the oh no. It does really pop out, like I said, in the live setting. Like it's very, like it cuts through everything else, which I think is cool. So, but I can't speak to that one. That was totally his call. And I won't pretend like I am the mastermind behind this song. He did a lot of the heavy lifting. So
and there's no organ pads here in the chorus. You left them off.
That's to help the song grow, for sure, was what that was. A lot, like I said, it's a lot of repeating sections, and so it's like, how do you keep making it grow? And Cameron said something really interesting to me when we first started working together, which he was like, people's attention spans are so short these days. You have to constantly be putting something slightly different in the song to keep their attention. He goes, because my kid will listen to a song and hear the verse and the chorus and go, well, I know what the rest of the song sounds like. I don't need to listen to it. And they'll skip it. Or like in the TikTok generation of like, well, I only need 15 seconds of this song. I don't need anything else. This is the viral sound, right? So we always try to add slightly different, even if it's in like my vocal, if I go up where this first time I went down, just anything to sort of mix it up. And so taking out the keys or putting something in is to sort of help it grow, but also to keep your ear going, oh, that was different. Even if it's not conscious, the listener will go, oh, okay, different.
Gotta get away from girls like that. Need to get away from girls like that.
Hey everybody, don't go anywhere. We got lots more coming up with Tahlena Chikami after a few words from our sponsors.
Looking to elevate your music career? DistroKid is a digital music distribution service. that enables musicians to distribute their music to online stores and streaming platforms such as Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music, Amazon, Tidal, and many more. DistroKid collects earnings and payments, sending them to you, the artist. With DistroKid, artists unlock a world of possibilities. From easily paying collaborators with splits, to securing your music with DistroLock, DistroKid covers all bases. Plus, you can promote your releases with Hyperfollow and create eye-catching visuals with a Spotify Canvas generator, all for free. But that's not all. Introducing the DistroKid app, now available on iOS and Android. Artists can manage their releases, view streaming stats, and withdraw earnings, all from the palm of their hand. And for those looking to perfect their sound, check out Mixia. With its simple interface and customizable mastering options, artists can make their music sound polished and professional within minutes. And don't forget about Instant Share, DistroKid's newest feature. Share large files securely with collaborators, producers, and more, ensuring your music streams at the highest quality. Ready to take your music to the next level? Download the DistroKid app and explore their suite of tools today. Plus, listeners can enjoy 30% off their first year by visiting distrokid.com/VIP/demakes. That's distrokid.com/VIP/demakes.
Your data is like gold to hackers. They're selling your passwords, bank details, and private messages. McAfee helps stop them. Secure VPN keeps your online activity private. AI-powered text scam detector spots phishing attempts instantly. And with award-winning antivirus, you get top-tier hacker protection. Plus, you'll get up to $2 million in identity theft coverage, all for just $39.99 for your first year. Visit McAfee.com. Cancel anytime. Terms apply.
I can say to my new Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra, hey, find a keto-friendly restaurant nearby and text it to Beth and Steve. And it does, without me lifting a finger. So I can get in more squats anywhere I can. 1, 2, 3.
Will that be cash or credit?
Credit. 4.
Galaxy S25 Ultra, the AI companion that does the heavy lifting so you can do you. Get yours at Samsung.com. Compatible with select apps. Requires Google Gemini account. Results may vary based on input. Check responses for accuracy.
Get the Angel Reese special at McDonald's now. Let's break it down. My favorite barbecue sauce, American cheese, crispy bacon, pickles, onions, and a sesame seed bun, of course. And don't forget the fries and a drink. Sound good? Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
At participating restaurants for a limited time.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place. For changes big and small. Loud or quiet. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
When the game tips off, the NBA action is just beginning on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Because FanDuel is your home for NBA live betting. However you want to play, now is the perfect time to join. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA. 21 plus and present in Virginia. First online, real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable bonus bets which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hey friends, have you been loving Krista Makes a Podcast? Well, spread the love by leaving a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Don't hesitate to share what you enjoy about the show in an actual written review on Apple Podcasts. Not only does it help more people discover us, but we often read reviews in the wrap segment of the show. It's a quick, cost-free way to support us and takes just a minute of your time. Your reviews mean the world to us and help us keep the podcast thriving. Thank you for being a listener, and thank you for being a friend.
And now, back to the show.
Chorus 1, if it wasn't for Bad Boyfriend, it is odd. You know, the oh no gets the harmony, but the chorus doesn't sound like it ends. It sounds like it goes into a post-chorus, which
Yeah.
I'm calling later in the song. We're going to get there. It's kind of the same trick after the next chorus. But here, I'm calling this next part verse 2, but it doesn't feel like the chorus ends. It's really, really interesting. And I'm telling you why I like it, though. I feel like your band, you, are still kind of writing what just feels good. You're not thinking about it too much. And I encourage you to stay on that path. Get the producer to think about it, because when you start getting, I'm to the point now where I self-edit, and you start to second guess yourself versus those guttural instincts of like, this is what it is. Someone else can tell you the chorus isn't there, but this is what it is. And when I was listening to this arrangement, it reminded me of some of my early songwriting and our early recordings where there was no rules. There doesn't have to be rules because it's music. Do you call this next part verse 2?
Yes, it's so funny that you say that too, because one of the things about this new record was we told ourselves, write whatever you want. Like, no bad ideas, write whatever you want, instead of going, okay, we need this 2 songs that sound like this and 3 songs that sound like this, which is how we would approach a lot of stuff before. And so we told ourselves, like, write anything you want. And if it's weird, it's weird, and we'll make it work, it works. If it doesn't, it gets cut. Like, no one get sad about it. Like, we're just trying to make a good record. And it feels good to like write what you want, because you can try forever, as you know, to make everybody happy, right? Like, the kids don't like it, in the words of Real Big Fish. Like, you can try all you want, and somebody's gonna hate it. So I figure I will die one day, and someone will speak my name for the last time, and no one will remember me, and I will fade away. So I might as well do what I want to do. Anyways, that's a long way around going, yes, I think this next part is the verse, Chris.
Perfect. Well, we're gonna go with it. This is verse 2. It's half the length of verse 1.
You've been trying, you've been lying all the time, and you've been crying. Says it's in your head, but you know it's gaslighting. Why do you let him treat you this way? I can't believe you let him say, come on. Using up your
You've been trying. He's been lying all the time that you've been crying. Says it's in your head, but you know he's gaslighting. Why do you let him treat you this way? I can't believe you let him stay. Come on.
Are those the words? Because I sing them wrong every show. I cannot remember if it's lying, trying, crying. All I know is it ends on gaslighting. So I'm glad. Thank you for reading them back to me. As you could tell, I was so precious in the choices of my words. And it wasn't just because they rhymed and fit the scheme of the song.
I thought you were going with this. I've had people say, those are the words like that I have written down. You're like, and then they would correct me like, no, these are the words. But you're actually saying those are the words. You're just as surprised as I am that they're right. Okay, these are the words. I believe they're right. They're what we found online, and they're what I'm hearing.
No, that's probably right.
Okay. On the second, before I move on, what's happening here?
Well, so obviously I will be totally honest. You've been lying. He's been crying all the time that you've been trying, or whatever that is. I just said it wrong. Was because we needed words that fit that same scheme and syllabic theme, right? And they needed to rhyme. But the why do you let him treat you this way? I can't believe you let him stay was like really heartfelt to one of my friends, that I just couldn't believe that like she would put up with the way he was treating her. And that really, and every time I sing it, I think of that, and it really comes like deep from inside me. And I think sometimes people need to hear that, someone being like, don't let somebody, not to get all heady about it and emotional and like my therapist, but like, sometimes you need the outside perspective, because you can get really down on yourself, right? And your own self-esteem. And sometimes you need someone to tell you like, you're better than this. You're worthy of more than this,
Right on. Well, the drums, bass, guitar, upstroke guitar, and the organ are playing here, and the organ's playing unison upstrokes. So it's talking about the song building. Now the organ is going with the guitars there. I love that. And I've always loved when the organ, if there's one reason why I'd want an organ player in my band, it's just to have that extra kind of percussive. It's almost percussive when they play with that upstroke guitar. I love it.
Yeah, when we started the project, I really, really wanted somebody to play keys because of that, because I have a big love for two-tone. And originally I was like, we should have more two-tone sound. And, obviously things change as you go, but I've always loved that. And Mike, he and I were talking about this like literally last week, about how he always records last and writes his parts last. And Cameron will get on him like, what do you mean you don't have anything? And Mike's like, my job is to support whatever else has been tracked. he goes, I could write a million keyboard lines of what I want to play or what I think should happen. But he's like, the truth is, when everything else has been laid down, I'm here to support and help where the song needs it. And that's a good example here where, like, instead of going play pads or play this, you know, we're like, actually, you know what? Let's build it. Let's have you double, you know, what the guitar's already doing. And I think Mike's really smart like that.
It's interesting you say that because there's new wave bands, for instance, that are very synth and keyboard, oriented, where the guitar player's role is to play around that. It's kind of the opposite of what we're talking about here. So that's pretty cool. Verse 2 has a harmony on No He's Gaslighting, and then we get a gang vocal on the Come On at the very end. And is that kind of the thought process of, gang vocal here because we're building the song?
Yeah, and I think also sometimes too with gang vocals, I'm sure you know, like you're cueing the future audiences of where you want them to yell.
Okay. Well, right after verse 2, we get pre-chorus 2, which is the same amount of length as pre-chorus 1.
Using up your money, wasting all your time, burning out your body. Now I want your mind. Using up your money, wasting all your time, burning out your body. Now I want your mind.
The first time it says now he wants your mind, we get that bad boyfriend backing vocals hard panned left and right. And then around the second turnaround, when it says burning out your body, I hear these male voices again with these oohs kind of creeping in there.
I think that's me and Mashburn together.
It is.
I think is what that is. Yeah.
Okay.
But
so you're singing obviously a lower register. I said male voices, but it sounded lower there, and they're really tucked in the mix. At first couple of times I thought maybe it was the organ there. I'm like, what is that? And they're like oohs, kind of ushering in the next part.
Yeah, I used to be a hater on like overdubbing a lot because I used to be like, I want it to sound like when people come to my shows, I want it to sound exactly the same. But that's when Cameron was like, you're making art. You're not making like a preview. And I'm like, okay, you're right. So I got really into Olivia Rodrigo's Guts album in this time. And I made everybody in the band listen to it a lot. And I was like, I want to make a record like this, which it sounds nothing like that. But I did steal a couple like overdubby things. And I would hear a lot of things tucked in a record that maybe you don't hear right away. Or I always say like, I love Cardi B records because every time you listen, there's like a new thing. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Like, why did they do that? There's like so many layers. So that's like the things like the oohs being so tucked, like it's there, you can feel it, but maybe it's not like the main thing you hear the first 5 times you hear the song.
Well, and that's an artist being in their head, I think, with what you just said, because when you're getting hit with 105, 110 dB at a concert, it's taking your head off. The last thing you're gonna, where'd that backing vocal that was tucked in there? I didn't hear it. You're not thinking about it. You're in the moment. You're dancing with the show.
There's one guy. He'll come to the merch and he'll tell you that it wasn't there. God bless him.
There's always one. It's the guy that told. It's the same guy, I bet, that told me that I messed up the second verse.
Yeah, it's that one guy. God love him.
Same dude. Well, same thing like pre-chorus 1. We do not get a harmony the first time on Now He Wants Your Mind, but we do get a harmony on Now He Wants Your Mind the second time. And again, all the other lines in the pre-chorus are harmonized except that one time on Now He Wants Your Mind, the first time that happens. And then we get into chorus 2, but now we're broke down. Okay.
Yeah.
So first time we get full band in, but now we get 8 bars of a breakdown chorus. It's just kick, hi-hat, and we get clean guitar strums on bar 1 and bar 4, just kind of ringing out.
It's my favorite part of the song.
You don't need that bad boyfriend. Oh no, you don't need that bad boyfriend around you. It's sad but true. He's a loser and a user and a...
On Bad Boyfriend, okay, so it's you don't need that bad boyfriend. Bad boyfriend, oh no. I hear breathing off left, like a
Thank you for recognizing my hard work and breathing on that track. Actually, I think it might have been Cameron. I think I did it first, and then Cameron went in and did it.
Did he? Okay, because it kind of reminded me, it's kind of suspenseful, almost like, remember Friday the 13th? It was like,
yeah.
And Again, do you do the ha-ha live or not? And has that guy come to the merch booth to give you grief for it?
You know what's funny? Is that me talking about the Olivia Rodrigo record that the breathing is stolen off of one of her songs, and I was like, I want to put breathing in here. And, I started to get a lot of ideas. Some of them made it, some of them didn't. But yeah, I wanted it to feel like intense, right? Like it's a breakdown, but it's like, ooh, we're so angry at the bad boyfriend. And it's but which is funny because it does all this like kind of like tight building, and then it's like, it's sad but true.
Yeah, it is, again, full chorus broke down to this, and then I'm foreshadowing a bit, but later in the song the chorus is very odd at the end, which we're going to talk about. The oh no here has a harmony on it, and that's when the organ starts to creep in. On the back half of this chorus, you don't need that bad boyfriend around you. It's sad but true. On that line, there's a filtered, distorted vocal panned off left. And then we get into verse 3, but this feels like a post-chorus to me. Now, I don't know why. The kick and the hi-hat feel continues here with the bass, guitar, but now we get some hand claps in here.
Oh, very, very controversial in our band.
An argument or?
No, just Brian Mashburn is a lover of the hand clap, and I am not a lover of the hand clap. And Cameron is also not a lover of the hand clap. So, but Mashburn would be like, okay, so I'll put like every song, not every song, but a lot of times like, okay, then hand claps. That's like that's his like sprinkles on top is like hand claps. And I'll be like, okay, if you want to do hand claps. And then like we all go in there and we like, stand around one mic and do this shit. And then we listen to it back and it's always, is it cheesy? Does it sound like church? Does it sound like the 50s? Does it sound like whatever? In this one, I felt like it worked because it helped with the building. There were other songs on the record that had a sprinkling of hand claps that we took out. But this one, I think, again, because we're going to do the post-chorus or whatever this thing is called 3 times, and it needs to build every time, I think that's kind of where claps worked.
He's a loser and a user and a liar and a faker. Always pulling favors because you know that he's a taker. Says that he loves you, but it's all pretend. Only dating you to get to your friends. Come on!
Well, the organ is also here, and there's these like ooh, subtle backing vocals that happen with the horns here.
Yep, also a building device. And I can't take credit. That was all Mashburn. He was the one that heard that. He hears a lot of that stuff and is like, put this in. Yeah.
On Come On, we get a gang vocal again. And in verse 3 here, this is the same lyrics as the second half of verse 1. I like that in songs. I like when it comes back, if the verse is cool and there's something to say. And I think you pulled out probably some of the best, things to say here in verse 3. And was that talked about?
Yeah, so that's what I was referring to when it's like there's a difference in who thinks what is what part of the song. So I remember calling that like, oh, this is the verse. And then Mash was like, nah, it's the pre-chorus. So you would repeat the pre-chorus before we do the chorus of using up your money, wasting all your time. And I was like, okay, cool. But I think it lends well and like it helps it really like grow and get into the final sort of hurrah, I guess.
Okay. Well, coming out of verse 3, we know it's coming. It's this pre-chorus, but man, I'm just going to argue that this is the chorus. I mean, this song, if I could see why there was confusion because this part is just, it's so catchy. It is,
and we do it 3 times at the end. So it's like, I get it. It's the chorus. It's the thing. But yeah, it was interesting while writing because like I said, everybody was like, when you would say when in rehearsal, go back to the chorus, everyone would play a different part of the song.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You're standing there going, wait a second, the chorus isn't what you're thinking it is.
Using up your money, wasting all your time, burning out your body. Now we want your mind. Using up your money, wasting all your time, burning out your body. Now we want your mind. Your money, wasting all your time, burning out your body. Now we want your mind, your mind, your mind.
Pre-chorus 3, the first 2 times It's the same overall instrumentation and lyrics as the previous two pre-choruses. This pre-chorus goes for a third round, as you said. There's harmonies on every line here, though. On Now He Wants Your Mind, you get a harmony there the first time, as well as the Bad Boyfriend backing vocal panned left and right. Right when it comes back around for the second time, there's a new trombone part that happens here. It's like a that comes in, like an overdub that I hear there that's not present in pre-chorus 1 or 2. And again, that just goes along with building and putting something else there for the listener, for the ear.
Yeah, and Cameron is near the end of a session will go, just go in there and do stuff, which I love. Like, I know some musicians hate it. Now, if he said to me, go in there and vocally do stuff, I'd be like, I don't want to do that. No. Mm-hmm. But when I get to sit behind the control thing, right? And control thing. Do you hear how great of an artist I am? I said, when I sit behind the control thing.
I like it.
And I get to watch like my friends and bandmates dig deep and find like an interesting thing. Like he'll do it with drums a lot. Like, just play, whatever, and like that on horns, normally the last pass he'll go, do whatever. And so that was T-Bone probably just doing whatever he thought came to his mind or whatever. And we're like, oh, that's cool. That's sick. Put it in there.
Okay. Well, the Bad Boyfriend backing vocals come on the Now He Wants Your Mind for the first 2 times. And then when we do the third go around here, Using Up Your Money, Bad Boyfriend, Wasting All Your Time, Bad Boyfriend, Burning Out Your Body, Bad Boyfriend, Now He Wants Your Mind, Bad Boyfriend. We get that backing vocal after each line there 4 times. On the last line, Now He Wants Your Mind, that goes double time on the snare. For the next 2 sets of lyrics, you say your mind. The snare's still double time there. Those have harmonies on it. And then the last time, your mind, before we go into a very short tag of the song, very short, that is now the chorus. Okay, so we went from a full chorus to a breakdown chorus where the drums and the band tuck down to this, and the lyric is shortened here. It's just, you don't need that bad boyfriend. Bad boyfriend, oh no. On the first 2 lines, it's just bass, guitar, and vocals, and on the oh no, we get a harmony with an organ swell and the whole band bump ending at once.
You're mine. You don't need that bad boyfriend, oh no.
I love that ending.
Did Cameron ever say, what are we doing here? We gotta have the full chorus. The whole band has to be here. Or did he like that it's kind of abrupt and is how it is?
No, Cameron loves, to like mix it up. And like I said, for your ear, for it to be different. So if we had done like, oh, now we're going to do the full thing, he would be like, no, cut that off. But Brian wrote it that way. And I love it. And I think the oh no, like it really, with the harmony, like it really like sticks. It sounds great live when it gets really broken down. And I love that we go back to the bass of the like, banana, which I think is cool. I can't take credit for any of that. I just showed up and sang that part, but I love it. And like I said, so much of like my framing is from the live perspective because that's what I enjoy so much. And I'm like, live, it sounds so cool.
Right. Well, this has been a lot of fun. And before we break, the record just came out. Eat This. It's out now. What do you have going on from now until I see you this summer?
Well, let's see. We're playing a festival called Doll Fest in Northern California with other ska bands people know, like Half Past 2 and Stop the Presses. That'll be in Berkeley. We play March 2nd. We're playing It's Not Croydon Fest on the Saturday, April 26th. I'm excited for that. I've never been, and I hear it's a really good time. And we get to play with Random Hand, who I'm a really big fan of. And then I think until then, that's when we see you all. In June. That's when the start of our like crazy season sort of starts. Y'all are kicking it off, so I'm excited.
Yeah, Less Than Jake has 4 shows this up until this summer. So the first 6 months of this year, we only had 4 shows because our agent wanted us to stay out of the U.S. We were oversaturating the market, as they say.
Yes, we almost died in an RV in November and December, and so decided that we should take a break.
Oh no, I didn't hear about that. I'm sorry to hear that.
Oh, it's okay. It's not. It's more dramatic when we say it, but we did live through a tornado in an RV in a Walmart parking lot, and now we all have matching tattoos about it.
Oh my gosh, did that happen in California, or you guys have had enough problems out there? My gosh.
No,
Oklahoma.
This is in Oklahoma, just outside of Oklahoma City.
Of course, it's Oklahoma.
That's
where all the tornadoes. They're in Kansas, right?
Yeah, I woke up and I was like, I cannot die in this Walmart parking lot. I'm like, I could see it now. Punknews.org. Bite Me Bambi dies in Walmart parking lot in tornado.
Yeah, I don't want to die in Oklahoma. Anywhere else, no Oklahoma.
Yeah, we had an interesting winter touring season. A lot of weather, a lot of canceled shows, a lot of things like that. So yeah, we're taking kind of like a nice little break here, little flyouts, and then once the summer starts, it's kind of when it kicks off. But we're excited. There's like some Europe, there's festivals, there's a lot of stuff like that. So it would be good.
So I gotta ask before we break here: Are you a poor man's psychologist? Like when we're out on the road together, if someone comes to the merch booth and says, "Hey, I got a really bad boyfriend. Can we talk here?" Are you gonna help him out, or you're like, "No, that's not my forte. Just go listen to the song."
I'm always like, you know what? I support you. Yes, queen. Like, whatever. Like I try to keep it positive, right? Especially as you know, on tour, you get that burnout and you have like negative energy. I try to, when I see everyone, pull it out and go, just kidding. Everything's fine. Give me 8 more Red Bulls. We're going to be great. No.
keep pushing through, right?
Yeah. Because, we do have the best job in the world. It's easy to lose sight of that some days because you can get tired and it's hard to drive in a tiny vehicle with 7 of your closest friends. But we really do have the best job, so I can't complain.
Couldn't have said it better. Thank you so much for carving out some time to sit in with us.
Thank you for having me. I love this podcast. I'm a really big fan, so I was excited to be a part. I was actually nervous because I was like, I'm not a real artist. I have nothing good to say. He has people like Frank Turner on here. Jesus.
No. Everybody is worthy to be on the show. Thank you.
Well, thank you for having me.
Hey everybody, I hope you all enjoyed that conversation with Tahlena, but don't go anywhere. We got the band you might not know coming up. Plus, Chris and I are going to talk about this episode, so you don't want to miss that. We'll be right back after a few words from our sponsors.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever find yourself playing the budgeting game? Well, with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive, you can find options that fit your budget and potentially lower your bills. Try it at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. Not available in all states.
Every listener to Too Much Effing Perspective knows that my co-host Alan Keller is a music nerd. And right up there in his pantheon with the Beatles and Elvis Costello is The Clash. So Alan, it's one thing for you to be a nerd, but how did you rope in a cool guy, 311's Nick Hexum, into a full-on Clash geek fest on our show?
Well, first of all, Alex, it was your idea.
Oh, right.
Second, Nick actually jammed with the Clash's Joe Strummer in a supergroup that included Flea and Tom Morello.
Okay, well, there is that.
And finally, one member of the Clash cited This Is Spinal Tap, the reason our show even exists, as his favorite movie.
Which one?
Hey, if you want to find out, you got to listen to Too Much Effing Perspective. That's Too Much EFFING Perspective. The only podcast you crank up to 11.
Hey everyone, this is Tuck from Fit for a King, an off-road minivan. Every week I bring you fun interviews alongside your favorite metalcore entertainers with my new podcast, Get Tucked. Join me every Monday with bands like Counterparts, Crystal Lake, like Moths to Flames, and many more. We play unsigned and undiscovered bands, deep dive into each artist's history, and of course provide the greatest breakdowns in current metalcore. Tune in to Get Tucked every Monday, out now through Sound Talent Media.
Hey, this is Steve Choi, host of the Musicians Guild podcast, part of the Sound Talent Media podcast network. Within the 4 walls of the Musicians Guild, we'll be discussing the habits, idiosyncrasies, experiences, and general psychology of my friends and peers, all involved with music in various capacities. Listen and subscribe at soundtalentmedia.com.
Hello, everybody. I'm Bruce.
And I'm Nolan, and this is the Corner of Gray Street podcast. As longtime Dave Matthews Band fans, we set out to create a podcast to dive deep into the past, present, and future of DMB.
Not only do we recap and review shows within an ongoing tour, but we revisit past shows from throughout the band's history, conduct interviews with a wide variety of guests with ties to DMB, and create unique and exclusive content like our Concerts on the Corner series.
Whether you're a fan of the band or just a fan of great music, we think you'll find something you'll enjoy. We can't wait to see you on the Corner of Gray Street.
Hi, I'm Daniela Clark.
I'm Barbara Ann Wild.
And we are the Honest AF Show.
Our podcast is real, honest conversation with our celebrity friends and pros.
Covering our anything but average rock and roll lifestyles.
All while tackling the hell that is aging and the battle of beauty.
Oh yeah, nothing is off the table.
The Honest AF Show is available wherever you get your podcasts.
One Hit Thunder is a podcast where we both celebrate and have a good laugh about bands and artists that had just one hit that we all know. Each week, we're joined by a guest from the world of music or comedy to learn more than you ever thought you would about some songs that you can't forget. And we decide if they brought the One Hit Thunder or were nothing more than a one-hit blunder. Look, if you listen to the show, you're probably going to laugh, and I guarantee you're going to crush next time the bar has music trivia. Tag Team, Jane Child, Meredith Brooks, Looking Glass, Sean Mullins, Eiffel 65, EMF, Crash Test Dummies, Crazy Town, Chumbawamba. We have hundreds of episodes in our back catalog and a new episode each week, so pass the Dutchie, make sure you're connected, and subscribe to One Hit Thunder wherever you get your pods.
As we near the end of the show, here's a band you might not know.
Welcome to this week's Band You Might Not Know. If you'd like your band to be considered for Krista Makes a Podcast, email your best song via MP3 only and a short bio to bandyoumightnotknow@gmail.com. This week's featured artist is Field Fox, a 4-piece emo pop-punk band from Las Vegas, Nevada, whose aim is to continue the sound of the 2000s scene, but with a modern, progressive twist. Here's a snippet of their song, Brooklyn.
The Wrap with Chris and Chris.
Chris, I really, really liked that episode. I think Tahlena is really cool, and I think the band is really cool. And I got to tell you, you started it right from the start. And who can't relate to this? How hard is it? I feel like it's the hardest thing in the world to tell someone you care about, a friend, a family member, that their relationship is bad. And I, for one, do not. I hate getting it, so I never offer unsolicited advice. I will never do that. But when someone does ask your opinion on something, what's the right thing to do? I always feel like the best option is just offering the shoulder to cry on, being there for them. But it is really hard to tell someone, yo, you got a bad boyfriend, you got a bad girlfriend, you got a bad relationship.
Yeah, and I think sometimes you can tiptoe around a little bit with certain people, but if it's, what you consider a best friend, someone you really care about, you're going to give them advice. And I'm telling you, 9.5 times out of 10, they don't take it because they're in the eye of the tornado.
And then it's going to come back to bite you, because then at some point in the future, you're going to be hanging out with them with their significant other that then you have said something about. That's why I'm just like, I'm just there for you. You can vent to me, you can talk to me, but I'm not. You got to know what the right thing to do is for yourself. But I do think it's cool that in Bite Me Bambi's case here, they're putting it into song. I think putting it into song is one of the best things you can do.
Yeah, I loved everything about this episode just because when we stopped recording, Tahlena even said, I was nervous going into this. You can just tell that there's a lot here that are firsts. And what I'm getting at is Cameron Webb Webb. I had asked her, I said, did you ever work with someone with this kind of pedigree? And she's like, no, he was the first. And, sitting there, she opened up. She said, yeah, I was crying on the couch. I was upset, and those are the emotions that you get. I remember going through those as a young musician. And I think all of that plays into the wacky arrangement here and everything going on.
I love what she said about, because you questioned her right away about the arrangement of the song. Hey, this is strange. This is different. And I love that what she said is, you might as well do exactly what you want to do and not feel like you have to fit into some kind of formula, because no matter what you do, somebody's going to hate it. Like somebody's going to have an issue with it. And she went even deeper than that, which just is a little morbid, but she said, someday you're going to be gone and no one's going to remember anything you do. So you might as well do whatever you want. And I think that's kind of a good yet morbid outlook on that. And yes, Chris, Cameron Webb, obviously incredible producer. And I love that she said, it sounds like what she said is exactly what a producer should do. Push you in the areas that you need pushed.
Yeah, and it seems like, he picked his battles as producers do, but at some point he said, hey, if that's how you want it. And I'll tell you, when the producer throws their hands up and says, if that's how you want it, then I really sit back and go, oh man, because you're paying this person.
Yes.
And you do have some respect typically for a producer for that reason. And now you start questioning yourself.
Right. Why are you paying this producer all this money if you're just going to do exactly what you want to do anyway? What's the point? Right? I mean, minus getting great sonic quality, but you can do that with a great engineer. Right? So that's where, we've had those sort of points in our band where it was like this producer says something to us where we're like, whoa, what do they want us to do? And it's like a crisis, but then we're like, wait, we hired this person for a reason.
Well, and not everybody can be Prince and Elton John and go in and record themselves and have it be perfect, okay? There's countless examples, and I won't go into them, of artists that had the platinum first or second album, sold millions, and they said, you know what, I'm good. I know how to do this. They do the third record, and it just doesn't sell.
Right. Hey, you talked a little bit about this when it came to the fact that Bad Boyfriend was released, I don't know, close to a year ago now. And it is this new era of, if you can do this, by all means, props to you for being able to do this. I like to stick to a plan, but really nowadays, the thing that I see a lot of artists do is release a single, then release another single, and you keep releasing the songs as singles until you have that moment where something pops, where you have that viral moment, and then you drop the whole album. But you really got to be on your toes. It's such a different way of doing things. You can't stick to like a strict plan.
Well, I'll tell you, Chris, the more things change, the more they stay the same. You go back to the 1950s, the 1960s, artists released singles. The album was kind of a later concept. You released a single, you sent it to radio. Maybe they played it. If not, you went and recorded another one. And we're seeing that now. People love to point at hip hop. Oh, hip hop's been doing this for years. Well, yeah, and it's a good business model. I think that's why they're doing it.
Yeah, there's a reason why we do the things we do. And if you don't want to do it, you might pay the price of lack of success for not doing what works. Chris, I also loved that you asked Tahlena, what wave of ska are you guys? I think that's so funny because is the era of declaring waves of ska over? Or, Chris, I ask you, has the fourth wave of ska not happened yet, even though it's been 25 years or whatever it's been, because it hasn't hit that point where it's been huge again. I mean, that third wave of ska in the late 90s that you guys are part of, ska hit like the mainstream huge. And I don't know that that's happened yet again.
Well, I think maybe the closest we've gotten to it would be the Interrupters, but I haven't even heard them being called fourth wave ska, so I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think so, because yes, the Interrupters are a huge band and an awesome band, but they're not like mainstream. They'll be on like your local rock station, but I don't really hear them on like, the main pop station or whatever.
Sure.
I'm talking about stations as if people listen to stations nowadays. But I don't know. It probably doesn't matter. And Chris, one more thing I wanted to bring up to you was it's cool to hear another person, and maybe you're like this too. You kind of alluded to it. I kind of didn't think you were, but maybe you are. It was cool to hear Tahlena say that Cameron would just put a part on a loop so she could just keep doing the harmony over and over until she got it right, because that's how I have to do it. And I do think it's amazing. You referenced Roger. I could reference my bandmates like Paul and Steve and Trevor, who can just in an instant just pull a harmony out of the air and do it perfectly on the first or second time, whereas I got to work on it, So I like hearing other people have to work on it as well.
Oh yeah, I know my strengths and my faults, and I that's definitely one thing I have to work at. And if you feel like working, take your fingers over to your keyboard and type in chrisdemakes.com, where you can go get bonus episodes of the After Party and keep us on the air, right, Chris?
That's right. That's a good way to put it too, because anyone who signs up for our Patreon over at chrisdemakes.com, you allow us to continue making this show. We love making this show. I say this every week, but we depend on your support. Yeah, you hear some ads and stuff, which you won't hear if you sign up at chrisdemakes.com. And those ads do help to a certain extent, but what helps more than anything is if you join our Patreon. And we try to make it worth your while by giving you an incredible amount of stuff. Like the second you sign up, you get hundreds of episodes of the After Party, and at different tiers, you can get unedited video versions of the episodes and lots of other stuff. And we just appreciate it a lot,
Yeah, you help keep the lights on here because we love doing this and we love hearing from you. Chris, you got any reviews for us today?
Yeah, hey, if you like our podcast, go to Apple Podcasts and leave us a review. You can do it on Spotify too. It's slightly different. We love the 5 stars and we love the reviews. And hey, we'll read some of them on here from time to time. This one I got today comes from Anthony Mann 86, who gave us 5 stars and wrote, "Love this podcast," and also wrote, "I get really excited every week to hear what song is going to be broken down and what artist will be featured. Getting insight on all the amazing songs is a real treat and makes me like them even more. Maybe one day Chris could get David Knudsen from Minus the Bear on the show to nerd out about guitars and pedals. Keep up the great work." Well, we don't really nerd out about gear too much on the show, but I would love to do a Minus the Bear episode if we could make that happen.
Yeah, Mr. Anthony 86, please get us Minus the Bear, okay?
Yeah.
That's the hardest
Hit him up.
That's the hardest part about doing the podcast is securing guests. So if you can help us out, you or anybody, send guests our way. We recently had somebody do it. I won't tell you the band because we have them coming on, but they just sent me a DM on Instagram and said, "Hey, this guy follows your show. I bet he wants to be on your show," and they're going to be coming on. So help us out there. That'd be some more help you can help us with. And what a great episode. I want to thank Tahlena Chikami for sitting in the hot seat today. And we'll see you next week.
This is the story of Whitney Houston,
This is the story of Kurt Cobain,
of George Michael, of Otis Redding, of Amy Winehouse, of Michael Hutchence, Bob Marley. This is the story of Prince,
It's a new podcast series.
about how they died, why they died, and why we're still talking about them so long after.
It's like nothing you've ever heard before.
It's storytelling.
But it's more than that, because rock stars,
They tell us how we feel. They change our mood,
they change the clothes we wear, the people we hang out with.
the way we remember things.
It's them who give us those ludicrous moments, the ones where you...
Jumping around, singing your heart out, feeling understood.
And it's those moments we'll help you remember, the ones you're thinking about right now.
That feeling.
That feeling.
It's coming soon from Crowd Network.
Just search for Death of a Rock Star on your podcast app.
And subscribe now.
Life can be chaotic. If you're running a retail business, don't let disorganized order fulfillment add to the chaos. Use ShipStation instead. With ShipStation, you never have to worry about shipping and fulfillment again. Whether you're running a business out of your garage or you have multiple warehouses, ShipStation is ideal for every phase of your business's growth. Save time with one login for all your stores and by automating repetitive tasks. Plus, you'll save money with the best shipping rates from global carriers. ShipStation's industry-leading features help you deliver a better customer experience. They'll get accurate and faster shipments along with automated tracking updates with your branding. And with up to 88% off UPS and USPS rates and up to 90% off FedEx rates, ShipStation is the fastest and most affordable way to ship. Calm the chaos. Switch to ShipStation today. Start a free trial at shipstation.com/audio. That's shipstation.com/audio.